We have a couple of pretty significant updates from Google this week. They are keeping the ball rolling following the release of Gemini and the release of Gemini Ultra to specific users. Up first, I want to talk about Gemma, which is a new state-of-the-art open source series of models that Google has released to the public. It's built on a similar framework, a similar architecture as the Gemini models, but they're much lower parameter count, and we would expect that less money was invested into the building of these models. They are 2 billion and 7 billion parameter variants of the models. Alongside the release of these open source models, Google has released a responsible generative AI toolkit that provides guidance and essential tools for creating safer AI applications. There are tool chains for inference, supervised fine-tuning across major frameworks. That includes JIX, PyTorch, TensorFlow. This all runs through Google's native Keras. There are instructional Colab notebooks. These models basically are released to the public and available for hobbyists, for researchers, and Google wants to make the use of these models as easy as possible. They want to make themselves one of the go-tos for folks looking to do research in the Gen AI space, hence releasing these low parameter count models that are high performance. They can run on your laptop or your workstation. Of course, they can run on Google Cloud if you'd like them to, but they demonstrate reasonably state-of-the-art performance for their size category, outperform older models like Llama 2, and they perform similarly to newer low parameter count models. And they're toting responsibility by design built in across it. They're toting optimization. They're also offering free credits for R&D on the Google Cloud platform. So this is a good step to see from Google. Releasing open source models is always, I think, a positive thing when it's done responsibly. And this seems to have been a responsible release of these models. Again, they're moderately low parameter count. They come with a safety and responsibility toolkit. And this opens up a lot of room for experimentation with LLMs, with a Google LLM specifically. So this is the first model that really falls into this category. I have not used Gemma myself, but we're likely to see a great deal of research coming out on the Gemma model, particularly with researchers who are making use of those free research credits. Up next from Google, they have released enterprise grade Gemini. So this is really more of an enterprise piece of news, but basically Google has released their version of ChatGPT Teams, where you could pay per user to get access to 2 different plans. Gemini Business, which gives customers access to Gemini in a workspace, chat with Gemini in a new standalone experience, so they call it. You can build your own Geminis. You can use it as a research analyst, professional editor, customer service. They're borrowing ideas from ChatGPT, certainly here. Gemini Enterprise is a product that has replaced Duet AI for Workspace Enterprise, and it rolls in all of the capabilities from Duet, like AI-powered meeting notes, generative image use, etc. That's a little bit more expensive. Gemini Business is as low as $20 a month. Gemini Enterprise is as low as $30 a month. This is available today if your enterprise is a heavy user of LLMs. Maybe if you're already a user of ChatGPT Teams, but it doesn't have all the features you'd like, or you'd like a Google native experience. Google now has Gemini Enterprise that they would be thrilled to sell to you. Price seems reasonable. The access to the Ultra models seems reasonable. I think it's a valid competitor to ChatGPT Teams, and it's good to have one. Up next, I want to talk about Groq quickly in LPUs. Groq has been blowing up on the internet recently because of their extremely fast inference time for LLMs. An LPU is a language processing unit designed for inference purposes. And the number that gets thrown out is the LPU allows Groq to generate roughly 500 tokens per second. Benefit here is clear because if you understand what the computation and the steps required are to do inference for a language model, you can design a chip that does that really efficiently. And this is showing very efficient. It's very fast, but it only works for inference, right? It's possible in the future we'll see chips that are optimized for training as well. Not sure. This is really a first big budget look at having language model specific chips available to the public. And we're starting to see the benefits of that through these demos that they've showed with really rapid responses and really rapid token generation. These things do perform really well. And it's just a fundamental difference in philosophical design. I think we'll see with time whether or not the really big players in the tech space are going to be investing heavily into technologies like these. If they're going to be investing heavily into transformer specific architectures for LLM inference, it's hard to say. And it's always a risk because you never know what's going to come out of the research end. There are other architectures that are already being experimented with every single day. Ultimately, it's a matter of time before one of them outperforms the transformer attention-based architecture. It's really cool that not only Groq has developed these powerful chips, but they're making these chips available to the public. Blast Stability has announced Stable Diffusion 3 in early preview. They have opened a wait list that you can join for early preview if you're a major user of Stability AI. Reasonably good timing on their end, seeing as there's some really impressive generative models coming out from Google and from OpenAI right now, like the video generation model that we just saw. Stable Diffusion is continuing to try to keep themselves relevant in the space, and they do continue to be one of the most used generative image applications that exists. And as long as they keep developing new technologies that keep them on top of the generative image space, I anticipate that they will stay there for the time being. That's all for this week. If you enjoyed, we'll have another episode next week. Thanks, y'all.